What's good, YouTube? It's your main man, ABD Hero, back again with another video. And today we're talking about the Charlotte Hornets versus the Toronto Raptors. We're going to recap that game. We're going to talk about Coach James Borrego's statements before the game. We'll watch those. We'll break down some thoughts on LaMelo Ball's play. We'll talk about some adjustments that I feel like they need to make going into next games and some of the hypocrisy that I'm hearing from Coach James Borrego. And I apologize if I get heated in this video at all, but we're gonna get into it. Let's go.
And I'm hanging out with my dude, AB the Hero.
What's
up?
Well,
we getting it down in the Ball State, baby.
AB, way to get out of the lane. Get out of the lane. What do you thought about that, Jay? I like that. Yeah, I told you, he's a hustler for it.
Let's go. I'm out.
Man, last night was one of them nights that had your boy stressed out. For one, it's a close game, so I'll give the Hornets I'll commend them for that. You know, I thought that the way that game was going to end was my dog Melo taking over in the fourth quarter, but they have some identity issues that we'll discuss as we get into this stuff. But before we do that, man, I want to give a shout out to all of the day ones, folks who've been rocking with the channel since been back before the rebrand, back before the new channel. I'm gonna give a shout out to the ladies who watch, you know what I'm saying? I appreciate y'all adding y'all voice and y'all thoughts and opinions into the culture. That's been dope to see. I just want to give a shout out to everybody who rocking with it, and make sure y'all subscribe and hit the notification bell to the channel and all of that good stuff. I appreciate it. I appreciate the love. Right now we are at about 6,000, almost at 7,000 subs. So man, we're trying to get to 10K. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button for your boy, man, and let's get there that way. All right, so getting into last night's game. Last night's game started off where it's kind of like a roller coaster for me, but because it would happen before the game even started. We watched the pre-game media availability. We'll call it a pre-game press conference with Coach James Borrego, and he talked about Gordon Hayward. Gordon Hayward, who was injured in the last game versus the Mavericks, had a hip injury and was going to be out last night, and we got a bunch of dancing around from James Borrego as it came to who was going to be in the starting lineup, right? And I think that the media realizes that for him, it's a bit annoying at this point to keep having to answer LaMelo Ball questions. So they tried to give some creative answer or questioning to him to figure out who he was going to start without completely pissing him off, and he tried to dance around it and give some creative answers to not allude to who he was going to put in the starting lineup. And at the end of the day, I knew who he was going to put into. I knew who he wasn't going to put into it, even though I was hoping that he was. And let's just take.
Baby, who would you anticipate would absorb the minutes that Gordon would normally get?
We got a number of guys on the bench. I mean, we got Caleb, Cody, Jalen, and Malik. Those four.
So this is what I was saying when I was trying to shoot him some bail, because obviously he tried to ask a tricky question. Who do you think is going to absorb the minutes? And a lot of folks heard that and thought that he was basically saying like one of these guys will probably be in the starting lineup. And I was thinking like absorbing the minutes means something different than being in the starting lineup, right? Because if you think about it, Melo was getting about 25 minutes a game. If he was to slide over into that starting lineup and play starters minutes, which would be about 30 to 35 minutes, somebody else would have to absorb some minutes. So I was thinking absorbing minutes just meant something like figuratively, like we got a bunch of these guys, we got 35 minutes that we would normally give to Gordon, but so now we're gonna give 10 to him, 10 to him, and 10 to him, and 5 to this other cat. Obviously we'll see, spoiler alert, that's not what he meant, but let's continue, because they continue to kind of press and try to ask who is going to be a starter, hoping that they can get an answer from him that sounds like LaMelo Ball. We don't get it.
If Gordon can't start, do you know who you're going to start instead?
I have a good idea. I'm not ready to release it quite yet. I want to get final word on Gordon. It does look like he's going to be out, but I want want to wait a few minutes on that.
Okay.
That's cap. Obviously, he 100% knows that Gordon's not going to be out, and he 100% probably knows that who is going to be starting. If you look at his body language like we talked yesterday, you can see his head, his eyes is down all over the place. It's a lot of deception being shown in his body language as he talks about this.
Robin?
Hey JB, even though you don't want to reveal who you're gonna start, can you give some notes in terms of why you want to do what you want to do? Is it more about finding offense to replace Gordon? Is it more about defense? Like, what do you want to do if you can't play tonight?
Folks, they trying hard to figure this thing out.
I think finding the right balance for our starting unit. You know, you got to go with a little bit of more offense. That starting unit. You know, Gordon's been a big part of that first group as far as scoring. And scoring's been a challenge for us in the first 6 minutes of the game.
So this is where what pisses me off about him is he talks about scoring being challenged in the first 6 minutes of the game. But if you watch any game, when they're on a scoring drought, there's one solution that always puts points on the board for them. By not even just scoring the points himself, but also facilitating the offense and creating energy, a pace, and assisting at times on points getting on the board. And that person is one guy. So when you know that that's the problem, and you know what the solution is, seems like these should be all easy answers.
You know, I'd probably lean with someone that's got a little more offense, but all our guys are capable of handling those minutes for Gordon. So other guys got to step up.
Somebody who has a little bit more offense. Remember that.
It's a great opportunity for somebody else to gain some minutes tonight. So, I just want to keep the lineup as balanced as possible.
All right, so let's do a reveal here. Now, talk all of that talk, and let's get here. Here's the starting lineup. Charlotte Hornets. He inserted Caleb Martin into the starting lineup. Talked about wanting somebody who is going to score and add more points to the lineup. Caleb Martin right now, playing 15 minutes a game, is giving you about 6 points a game. Right, we've seen when Melo was giving you about 15 minutes a game, he was damn near giving you a triple-double as far as offensive production is concerned. So to me, what you're getting right now from James Borrego is a lot of cap. A lot of cap. And like I said yesterday, man, I thought that this is a no-brainer, because at times I think that the way that he moves and some of the sets you watch the game, he comes across as an intelligent coach. But yesterday was a foolish decision to make, because when you say, yo, our biggest issue here is scoring at the beginning of the games. That Dallas Mavericks game, you started the game behind and you won every quarter after the first quarter, second, third, and fourth quarter. You scored more points, but you could never erase the deficit that you had when you started the game. So how do we figure out, how do we keep up? Did not find that solution. Caleb Martin got to start 24 minutes, 5 points. First basket that he was able to get was off an Melo assist. He drove to the basket, tried to dunk on it, missed it, went to the free throw line, knocked down 2 of them. We see here Melo played 26 minutes, gave you 14 points, 11 assists, 1 block, 3 steals. 3 steals, and it's so crazy to me, and obviously I know that steals do not 100% equate to great defense, you know what I mean, especially being an all-ball defender. But LaMelo Ball is somebody who, when you go back and you look at the draft stock and all of that stuff, the thing that folks said they're worried about is shot selection, percentage of being able to knock down shots, and his defense. And he is proven to be a damn near an elite defender in some regard. All right, you see Malik Monk got a bit more minutes, and I think Malik Monk is in a tough situation because for some reason or not, they're blackballing him. Like he got a damn near fight, scratch, and claw to get minutes. So I could see him getting in this game and feeling like, yo, I gotta take full advantage of this. So that's a tough spot to be in. But here's what I really want y'all to take a look at. When you look at a guy who's saying, yo, we need to score. We're behind at the beginning of these games. Our offense is lackluster at the beginning of the game. And we go here and we look at LaMelo Ball comes in at 6 minutes, I believe, 6 minutes 39 seconds. Melo enters the game. The score is 11-11. That's a pretty low scoring affair as far as the NBA is concerned, right? So if you think that if you double that 6 minutes, another 6 minutes, you got about 22 points in a quarter. That's not a lot of points, all right? That's a game where it's below 100 points. You know what I mean? So you look at that at 11 points and 6 minutes to go. You finish the quarter with 34 points. That means you double the output in 6 minutes. You double your previous 6 minutes of output. Come on, man. LaMelo Ball got into this game last night, and the Hornets scored on 4 of the next 5 possessions. And the reason why it wasn't 5 for 5 is because Caleb Martin, who had a great lane to the basketball, cutting, fumbled it off his legs, dribbled the ball out of bounds. LaMelo Ball, come on, man. This is what I'm saying. James Borrego. Bruh, look, let me get this off here for a second. James. Look me in my eyes, bro. It's time. You about to lose your job, my guy. Next, maybe not. They're not gonna fire you during the middle of the season, but it's a setup because right now, it seems like this where we got James, and if I play LaMelo off the bench and he does well, then James Borrego looks like a genius for playing Melo off the bench and doing well, and the team wins. It's like, yo, he adding the right punch that we need, so it's great to keep him on the bench. But when y'all lose and he goes 14 for 11 and would damn near have a triple-double and probably 6 or 7 more points, you look crazy. When you start games slow, there's games where the Hornets have scored 6 points in 6 minutes before Melo gets into the game, and then they finish the quarter with 20-plus points. You look crazy when that happens. And then when you hop on a press conference and say, we got a slow start, we trying to fix it. Right now, the Hornets have only changed their starting rotation 3 times, each time due to injury. None to fix what actually is happening on the court. Got to make some changes, Borrego, and it's going to cost you your job if you don't. You're going to be in one of these situations where at the end of this season, when they start to look at why we're in the position, why we missed the playoffs when we were a 7th seed at some point, they're going to call your name. This reminds me of one time when I was in college. My defensive back coach got fired at the end of the season. And this is a season in where my previous season started every game. Next season started 0 games. And it's because my coach was being pressured to play somebody else in front of me. After the season is over, he's fired. He just walking around the city doing his thing, hanging out. Because, you know, that's the beauty thing about being a college coach. If they fire you, they still got to pay you. You feel me? So he was making like $200K, some stupid shit like that for just chilling. So basically he says, yo, bro, I'm not gonna lie to you. The one thing that I would have changed is I would have just go ahead and started you from the beginning of the season, because what ended up happening is by the time we got to the end of the season, I wasn't starting, but I was playing starters minutes. You know what I'm saying? I would get in the game and then not get out. Going into the crunch time, fourth quarter would hit, and they'd be like, all right, bro, this is your moment. And so that was happening, and his whole problem was that the powers that be was giving him the option. They were strongly suggesting that he did something else, but if he felt like he wanted to play me, then they was like cool with it. And I think James Borrego, and this may be me shooting him some bail, or maybe it could be just him personally, you know, some egotistical shit. Like, I think that he is in a situation where somebody is in his ear and telling him, yo, I don't think the kid ready, but if you do, you know, but if he ain't, it's gonna be on you. So, and at the end of the season, it's gonna cost him his job, because they're gonna look at you and say, yo, it was your decision. We was in the war room. I threw something out. You went with it. You got to know better. You the head coach of this team. It's all bad for you. And I think that's just going to be a tough look for him, and that's going to be a harsh reality for him to have to deal with. But only time will tell, man. It's your man, AB the Hero. We're going to be back with some more videos later today. So stick around, hit that sub button, hit the bell, get into it, get in tune, and let's go.
No, not peace. +1, triple B's. We out.